Hi, welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be making a game board for the Middle-earth strategy battle game by Games Workshop. I'm going to start by mixing up some plaster of Paris with some water. I'm aiming to get a nice thick mixture which I can then apply with my hands to the board to give a nice uneven earthy texture to the otherwise flat wood, and really try and replicate some of those natural lumps and bumps in the ground. I achieve this effect by basically eyeballing the mixture until I get the required texture. You can always add more water or more plaster of Paris, so it's not the end of the world if it's not quite going your way. You just, you thicken it up, you add a bit more plaster of Paris, and to loosen it you add a bit more water. Next up, I'm going to add some more texture to the mixture by adding some grits from the Jarvis Scenics range. This is some urban scatter, which is a mixture of different rocks, and I'll stir that in. This will just give some little rock details like you see in fields and valleys. Again, I'm just adding some more fine sand this time. This will give the mixture just some more texture. And then I'm going in with some gloves on. It's a messy process. I'm going to apply the mixture across the board, not worrying too much about placement at this point. The only thing you don't want is the board to look uniformed. You want it to be as uneven and lumpy as real life environments. In this case, it's going to be a grassy and rocky environment near a river or a stream. So it's not going to be very flat and even. And although at this point you're not seeing the large mounds, they start to pick up the more layers you put on of this mixture. Towards the edge of the board, you want it to be as flat as possible while still retaining an earthy texture, as when you attach the next part of the board, as these will be boards that can be played as little skirmish maps or placed together to make bigger boards. You want it to have a nice flow to it, so you don't want to add any rocks or big lumps on the edge in order to allow the boards to flow together nicely. The next job is to build up the rocky area near where the river is going to be. For this method, I'm going to use the tin foil method. Plaster of Paris, like seen earlier, simply mixed with water, and then you pour it into some crumpled up foil, which you've formed a tray with, and let it set. It sets within half an hour, and it should give a nice rocky texture. And then here it is, dried and removed from the foil. As you can see, it's got a stunning rock effect. And what I'll do with this is I'll simply break it up into sections and then place it to form a river, as you can see I've done here. So then back in with the plaster of Paris, I am building up a hill that allows from the top of the river to come down into the valley type area where the orc camp is going to be. And for this I used a very thick mixture and just built up and built up. It took a while, but the effect I wanted was gained. And while building up this mound, I was using a plastic knife, and which doesn't give a really natural effect. I just wanted to build up the shape, and I can add a nice texture and rocks to the top of the hill to really make it smoothly transition into the valley, which I'll do in the next step. Next step involves using some Vallejo earth texture paste. And this stuff's it's gold dust. I use it all the time. I use it for the miniatures, basing and dioramas, basically all the time. All it is really is like paint, PVA mixed with some sand. You could probably make it quite easily yourself, but to have it in a pot, and I find it dries nicely and sticks really nicely. Obviously the people at Vallejo must have come up with a nice formula for it, but this is basically going to cover the entire board. Apart from some of the rocky areas where I didn't want a sandy texture, it's going to completely cover, as it'll give a nice mud effect, as it says on the tin, earth texture. So going in here, I'm giving a look at the river bed as it is now with the nice rock cliff, and that foil technique has really brought the whole model to life and looks so natural, much better than I would have been able to sculpt it myself. And here I am just placing some scatter terrain that I'm going to be adding to the board, just trying to find a place for it and see what layout I'd like to look at for the board. And some of these things like the tents and the 3D printed objects, I'll be doing a separate video to show you where I got those and how I made them. Thank you everyone for watching. If you've made it this far in the video, please like and subscribe. I'm new to making videos, and I just wanted to document and show myself making and building all kinds of things. On this channel I'll be painting, making models, dioramas, boards, and basically anything arty I decide to do. So please come along for the ride, and there'll be more videos coming soon.